It's the Seth Williams Show with Mike Kaselka. And here's your host, Seth Williams and Mike Kaselka.
Welcome to another Monday night Seth Williams Show with Mike Kaselka. A lot going on. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
All right. It's kind of weird. You're not wearing the glasses. I am.
Yeah, I'll put them on when I.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know.
There's a lot going on tonight. Let's see what we got coming up. We got Psychic Sonia coming up. Jim Isabella. We're going to have a little panel discussion on, I guess, a couple of topics tonight. It's a big game yesterday. And then, of course, whatever the hell is going on in the skies above us.
No kidding.
Because apparently there's a lot. I don't know.
There's a lot that everybody's wondering about, and there's a lot that hasn't been said, and I bet there's a whole lot of stuff that we can't even guess.
Yeah, so I guess we'll get into all that. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. I was in Pennsylvania. Did a couple shows out there, raised some money. It was fun. Set went good. Audiences were nice. And I hate to say this, but as much as I hate the Steelers, Pittsburgh has a pretty cool downtown.
Yeah, it's not a bad area, to be honest with you.
The city's just, and I stopped at an Italian store like called DeLallo's in the neighborhood where I was. Oh my God. It's like Amazon for Italian food. Aisle after stuff. I could have easily come home with hundreds of dollars worth of really cool food.
Yeah, a few times that my wife and I have gone to Pittsburgh. I like it there. I do. I think it's a pretty good town. Again, hate the Steelers. Don't really care about the Pirates. I mean, I guess I like their manager.
Yeah,
it's all right. But other than that, I could really care less. But yeah, Pittsburgh's actually a pretty good town.
I'd like to take Cleveland City Council, put them on a bus,
and show them what real town
and say, look, because here's the key to part of what Pittsburgh does. They have 4 huge parking garages on all 4 corners of downtown.
Yeah.
And it costs $5 to park for the day.
Yeah, see, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
If you go down at 8:00 in the morning, do some shopping in the north end, and then you want to go have dinner in the south end, you just move your car with the same ticket and they don't gouge you. Nobody in the suburbs comes downtown in Cleveland because every time they do, it's for a Browns game or some special event. And there's a sign that says parking $40.
Yeah, I know. I went down for opening day with my daughter a few years back. And it cost me like $50 to park in a semi-decent spot.
Yeah.
Because she was young at the time and didn't really want to make her walk throughout the entire city. And then they canceled the game. And I went back to and I said, hey, look, man, they canceled the game. We've been parked here for like, a half hour. And sorry. And they kept my $50. I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. I was here for a half hour and I didn't get to see the ball game. And I spent $50 to park my damn car.
No, you had somebody steal $50 from you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Away with it.
Best story about Pittsburgh with me and my wife. We had just had our second wedding. It was like a radio wedding that we had, and so it's down at Shooters, and we had a good time down there. A whole bunch of stuff. It was great. But Jennifer Downey from Ambiance was there.
Okay,
they owned Ambiance at the time. I don't think she does anymore. And she had given us a gift basket, if you will, of stuff. I mean, Ambiance, the store for lovers,
right.
Tomorrow's Valentine's Day, but they had everything that you could imagine was in this gift basket. It was pretty risque, if you will.
Nice.
And we went to Pittsburgh for like a second quick honeymoon because it was just a few days I had off, and so we decided to just take a quick drive over there. And
hell, you were already packed.
Yeah, when we get to this hotel, and we were staying at the Renaissance downtown, so it was like a 5-diamond hotel or whatever. And we get in, and I had my suitcase, all that kind of stuff, but I put this basket of stuff up on the counter, of the hotel. I'm like, right. We're ready to check in, and there's things poking out of the plastic. I'm like, There's a gift, which is just a gag. That's a gag is probably the wrong word, but
Right.
it's a gift bag that we got. Sorry,
Uh,
but yeah, it was pretty funny. Just this basket of sex stuff sitting on the Renaissance Hotel lobby counter.
nice.
Um, Again, we got Psychic Sonya coming up in just a little bit, and Jim Isabel going to talk about the big game and talk about the whatever's going on up in the skies. You can comment if you'd like. Hey, Seth, what's the ET next to your name? I think it's
Can I answer that?
yeah. Go ahead.
Cover your left eye
Yeah,
and look at his backdrop.
yeah, that would be it. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, yeah, extraterrestrial, because that's what I think is actually going on up there. I'm afraid to actually post stuff on Facebook anymore since we're currently banned, I guess. Well, we can post stuff. We can't go live on it. And what they do now is they for the next 20 days, I think, still they push our post back in the algorithms, so very few people actually see what we're posting. This is the most ridiculous. I almost swore, and it's way too early in the show to swear, but the most ridiculous thing ever.
Yes.
That I've ever experienced. I mean, I posted a picture of a freaking guy hanging from balloons, and my daughter goes, "Well, that's horrible." I said, "Well, why is that horrible?" "Well, do you put a noose around a guy and he's hanging from balloons?" I said, "No. It was just a funny picture. The guy from that movie Up, he's got a bunch of balloons and everything over his house.
Yeah.
That's all it was." And
I told you.
There wasn't no noose around Hunter Biden. It was a guy just hanging there from a bunch of balloons. And it was a funny meme. And now nobody sees our posts. And
I said it on the air last time. I'll say it again. I laughed my ass off when I first saw that picture. I thought it was clever. I thought it was funny. I liked it. And then when you said, "Oh, yeah, we're banned," because it's like, no, this can't possibly be. And here's the thing. How many hundreds of other interpretations, some incredibly worse than him in his underwear with a bunch of balloons, have you seen all over the internet? And those people are skating.
Oh, yeah. And what's really upsetting is Jim Scott, good friend. I got to thank Jim and Sandy for helping me out today. Much appreciated. He sent me a bunch of texts this morning with some really funny stuff, and I can't use any of it. I mean, some of it is really, really funny, but I've seen some of these memes on Facebook, but I'm not putting them up now because I'm afraid to.
Yeah.
One was Kim Kardashian's ass is a balloon, but I'm afraid to put it up.
I have sent that to dozens of people. There are people that have reposted what I posted. My name's all over that balloon picture with the hot air and the flame going right where it should. And that doesn't bother anybody. And that's a hell of a lot more sexual than the balloon that you picture you posted.
We got to get Psychic Sonya's kind of on. It says our device is not connected. I don't know what's going on there. But we'll get her on. She had probably the greatest prediction that I've ever seen from somebody last night. And I don't know whether to talk about it now or just wait until she comes on.
Give her a minute. I think it was so cool. She deserves to be right there, Johnny, on the spot when you tell everybody what it was.
Yeah, Sonya, it says it's not connected, so you're going to have to log out and try it back again. Make sure your camera's on, your mic is on, all that kind of stuff. We are taking your comments, though. If you have any comments about the big game last night, I want to start with that, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good one. Get right.
Because that was, last night, and I guess it was a good story. What'd you think of the game? Did you watch the entire thing?
I didn't watch the entire thing. The first half hour, I was still driving home from Pittsburgh. I parked the car. I came in. I turned the TV on. And then after being gone for a couple of days, I went upstairs in my office and I listened to the game. So I didn't see the whole thing on TV, but I heard the broadcast of the whole thing. And again, I want the whole panel to be around to talk about the kind of stuff, the way I was affected by the game and so on and so forth. But
suffice
to say, we got a lot, there was
we had Sonya.
she's in. Good. Let her in.
No, she's gone now.
Oh,
She was there and then she left. So she'll be back.
it sure.
I watched.
Enough.
Well, first, I got to tell this story. So Jim and Sandy helped me out this morning. My daughter was violently ill, and so was I. It was not a good morning. We were violently sick, and we had chicken from a major grocery store chain, the Big Bird, Giant Eagle. We got, I could say it, we're trying to sponsor the show. We got chicken from Giant Eagle, fried chicken, and it tasted good last night.
Yeah,
but not so good this morning. Now my house isn't a dark house, but it was dim. But we had chicken. That's all we had to eat last night. It was a couple of things of fried chicken from Giant Eagle.
Right.
And this morning I'm looking because my daughter had gotten sent home from school because I can't drive. I had to have Jim and Sandy come pick me up and take me to get my daughter because she was throwing up at school, and I was really sick this morning. And I looked at some of the garbage after I was like, because I was trying to figure out what was wrong, and the dark meat from the chicken, the bones were bright red.
Oh,
not like a maroon color like you would see, like normal dark meat would have, but like bright red. It did not look good.
Ooh.
And we were really, really sick. My wife only had like a couple of pieces of white meat, and she was okay all day, but not us. Psychic Sonia is back, so let's bring her in to talk about some of this big game stuff that happened. Sonia, how are you?
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Good to see you.
How you doing tonight?
I'm better, thank you. I found my way in.
There you go. I want to start talking, I guess, about the Super Bowl last night and everything that happened with that. Then we'll get into the other stuff once we get Jim Isabella on too. But I'm going to say this, and I mean this. It was the most incredible prediction that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, I should have bet some money, huh?
Yes, you should have. And you should have told me to bet some money. I was kind of upset. But here we go. So last night, I was texting you around close to 6:30, just asking if you'd come on the show tonight to talk about the whatever's going on in the skies. And you said yes, and I thumbs up, blah, blah, blah. We're going back and forth. And then at 6:27 p.m., you send me a text. Here it is. Super Bowl. The team who wears red will beat the others. Chiefs by 3.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I didn't think anything. I'm like, okay. Chiefs by 3. And then at 10, whatever it was, I'm watching the game, and I'm watching the Chiefs go for a game-winning field goal to win by 3.
Yeah.
And I said, there's no way that this is going to happen. It's going to get blocked. Something's going to happen. And sure as hell, they win by 3 and ball game. And that was unbelievable.
Well, thank you. I'm sometimes I'm lucky.
I wouldn't call it lucky. You're a psychic.
I guess so.
So I thought that was absolutely amazing.
It was the whole thing about red is what when I was I guess psychics meditate on this,
right?
And so I was like, I saw that flash of red, so that I didn't know which team I'm not that much into football to know which team was red, but when the game started, I realized after seeing the uniforms, then I realized the red team's going to win. So I guess it was Chiefs by 3, and then the number 3 just popped up in my head. I'm thinking, well, what number? And it's kind of like you're searching, and then 3. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, that's the pop-up that is pretty amazing, Sonia, because red or green, I mean, there's only 2 teams, so you pick one of the 2, you got a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
But of all the millions of people playing squares, laying odds, betting with sports books, for you to say they're going to win by 3 and nail it right on the head and have it be like the last minute or 2 of the game, that's the pretty amazing part.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's, I wish I was a gambler, but I'm not. Maybe you guys need to start making this part of your show. See how long I go on a run.
forget the show when Seth called me and said what you did. He read the text to me and he said, Michael, the text came at 6:27.
Yeah.
First thing I said, as soon as the weather gets nicer, Seth and I are going to take you to Northfield. And,
Okay.
you know,
we're going on the track.
Hey, guess what? I know one tip about Northfield.
Okay.
Okay. If there's a guy named Merriweather and he's riding in the first rail from rail 1 through 5,
yeah,
he's winning. He's winning. He's going to win. It's just if he's racing, he's gonna win. There's like thank me for that later.
Yeah, well, thank you. I might get up now and go see if
I was going to say, I'll handle the show, Mike, and
yeah,
you guys know I'm a horsewoman, right? You guys know I own horses and I know people, and it's not fixed. It's not a fixed thing, but we know who's a talent and who isn't. You got to talk to the guys at the stable. They can't look at the odds.
True.
You got to know who's driving.
Yeah, see, I always just go and pick my favorite name. I mean, you know, I just look at a name and go, yeah, I kind of like that name, and then that's who I put the money on, which is the dumbest way to ever bet my entire life.
Yeah.
Either that, or when I would always bet with Triv because he'd be watching the gambling or the horse racing channel at the station.
Yeah.
And I'd always tell him to bet on number 6 because I just had a feeling that number 6 was always going to win, and usually number 6 was at the glue factory before the race was even over.
Oh, gotcha. Wow. Yeah, but I mean, I like to gamble, but I've got a limit because I'm not a rich person. I don't.
Yeah.
Hard to justify, losing more than $20 on something. Really.
I got one.
I think if I had more money, I might be more feeling privileged to have that kind of fun. But as a psychic, I am guilty. I have gone and won some jackpots at Jack's. And I did get lucky this past Thanksgiving down in Florida in Daytona Beach. I went to the casino there and I did pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have one horse story but it just made sense for another reason. Like you said, you got to read everything into what's going on in the race. I'm sitting in Hollywood Park with another comic who was a horse racing junkie, the kind that like did all the math, got the forms and did all the numbers and paper and pencil and 50. And I looked at the race that he was figuring on betting, and we're sitting there in Hollywood, in LA or Hollywood, California, and the one horse was owned by Jack Kent Cooke, who was the owner of the Washington Redskins.
Okay.
And I told the other comic, I said, dude, he is not going to put all that money into flying his horse to California, racing it out here to come in 4th.
Right.
So bet Jack Kent Cooke's horse.
And
he looked at me and said, you don't know a damn thing about racing, and proceeded to bet one of the numbers things that he figured out. And Jack Kent Cooke's horse won by 20 lengths.
I bet he cleaned up.
He cleaned up.
One of the things you also, that money, they can buy the best trainers, obviously.
True.
And they got the bloodlines. But what I do is I go and I look at the horses entering the paddock. And if they're hyped up and they're high stepping and they're blowing smoke and stepping sparks and they're leaking fluids and they're just crazy, they're not going to win. They're already too excited. Yep. You want to bet on the ones that are calm, listening to their riders, their ears are back on their handlers. And you want to bet on the ones by the rail up to the 5th. That's it. Anything after that rarely wins. That's the statistics. That's why people look at the statistics. But to me, I look at the horse. If he is just full of piss and vinegar and acting like a dragon and acting all stupid, he's going to lose all his energy before the race is over, is what I know about horses.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there's your tips. You guys can all thank me later.
So let's hope that this weather holds up and we're taking you to lunch at Northfield.
Yeah, I'm happy to go. I don't,
I'm driving.
I want to broadcast from there, but that would be fun if we can actually do
That'd
a show.
be really cool.
You want to? Okay. Or you want to follow me around the casino?
Yeah, I don't know the legality about that, but it would be fun.
Yeah.
I've never actually won anything at a casino.
I know Bernie, so maybe we could sneak in. Okay.
There we go.
Let's get a decent steak, huh?
Yeah, right. Well, no, you got to pay for your steak. You can't.
No, I mean win enough to cover a decent steak. I don't need.
There you go. There you go. Then yeah,
bags of money. But if we can laugh at the check when it comes to the table, we did okay.
Yeah.
So did you watch
Absolutely.
the game last night, Sonia?
I did watch the game.
What did you guys think of the halftime show?
Oh, well, I was hoping a UFO was going to come down live.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
I think that was the joke of the day, but you know what I think? I think the diamonds in the sky thing, I enjoyed that they handed out the flashlights. I thought that was good. I mean, you got to think of it too. She was pregnant. She couldn't really do a whole lot of hopping around and carrying on. So I think what they choreographed was fine. I wasn't offended by anything. I think she's got a great voice. So people make fun of the Oompa Loompa, said they all look like Oompa Loompas, which was mean. But as far as her performance, I loved it. I loved the flyover thing. I loved the whole lights in the sky. Her voice was good. I enjoyed it.
It was more like an unidentified pregnant object. I mean, she had a baby back in May.
Yeah.
And is already looking like she's ready to pop again.
Yeah.
That was a little bit bizarre, but I mean, that's fine. But yeah, she's getting a lot of crap on like social media because of the way that the guys look like Oompa Loompas, like you said. It was kind of,
well, they were white because
bad.
I get the whole being white thing because there's a lot of lights going on, so they reflect they're all the same colors, and I don't know. I was okay with it. I think because she was all puffy. I think all her dancers were puffy. I don't know. I think it's mean to be critical of her. I think that it was fine. Hey, it wasn't Prince, but that's okay. I think out of all the female artists they could have had, I think she was a good choice. I'm not going to criticize her. I thought she's awesome.
We're waiting for her.
I'm an old school rock and roll girl, I graduated in 81. I've been to all the Led Zeppelin concerts, Pink Floyd, Aerosmith. I've been to all those concerts. But I mean, the new and upcoming singers, I'm not into the hip hop and all that, but I am very entertained by her. She was great.
We're waiting on Jim Isabella to join us. He's got some video issues currently.
I'll confess
one thing.
Go ahead. I was going to say, you asked about, what we all thought of the halftime show.
Yeah.
I hate to even have to admit this, but with the way the world is today, I have always thought that, God, please don't ever let this happen. I just didn't want something not at the game itself, but somewhere, anywhere in the world for that to be everybody's excuse to do something stupid because they know that 98% of America is watching TV.
Yeah.
If I were inclined to rob banks or crack safes or hold up there, halftime of the Super Bowl is the time to do it because everybody's watching the damn game.
Yeah. And same thing with July 4th. Everybody's out picnicking. And same thing with, same thing with all holidays. It's not just Super Bowl, but yeah, everybody's watching most everybody I know was watching Super Bowl. Yeah.
Well, Tom checks in, says, hi there, Seth and Michael. I watch all your podcasts, but this is the first time watching live. Now I can message. Could be dangerous.
All right.
Got our pictures and stuff on Instagram. So thank you, Tom, for checking in.
Tom, you want to get real dangerous? Call in.
Yeah.
Still waiting on the square right under me.
Still waiting on Jim to get some video going here. I liked Brianna, but last night she was boring. Well, she's pregnant, man.
Yeah.
She wasn't allowed to be hopping around.
Yeah, most of the costumes she wears on tour don't fit right now. So give her
and you got to think it too. They were hoisting her up real high with the glass thing. She kept it together and sang. Come on.
Yeah.
I think she did good.
I don't think she was singing. I mean, obviously.
She was. She had a live mic. She was.
Yeah, well, I mean, I heard her say stuff. I know how they do that when they turn the live mic on when the track ends and she's supposed to start talking. But there were times when her voice was still going.
Well, I thought those were backup singers. I thought she had like other people there singing with her.
No.
Well, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I was thinking it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So she slipped up on the lip sync. I guess in case she started coughing or something, at least she could fake it, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's a show, gues. They lip sync it. So what?
Look, I don't really care all that much. I'm just saying, I mean, I didn't think it was that terrible, to be honest with you.
I'm fine with it. I'm not. Yeah, you're not going to get a negative review out of me because she's brave to be going up on that. I probably would have passed out.
Well, she had to be anchored somewhere, don't you think? I mean, if she would have taken a tumble and fallen, that would have been the end of the game, the end of the Super Bowl.
There was an anchor. I saw the anchor behind her. She had it looked like an anchor, mountaineer anchor thing. Yeah. The dress covered it. Yeah, she was anchored in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw some of the a lot of the reviews and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, this was the craziest review that I saw,
What's that?
and it was from USA Today. Now, USA Today, I consider to be a fairly liberal newspaper. I would think. I don't know. I don't read it a lot, but this is the headline. Now, it's an opinion article, so that's fine. From Mike Freeman. Looks like a black guy, but his headline is Super Bowl 57 is the blackest, most woke Super Bowl ever. Sorry, haters. We had the black national anthem, Rihanna, and 2 black starting quarterbacks for the first time ever. This wasn't Super Bowl. This was Wakanda. Now, I don't know how you get away with putting even an opinion article like that out.
The opinion sounds racist to me, basically. I don't know. I'm just. I mean, honestly, I saw white people and yellow people and probably a couple blue and green and tan and pink. So I saw kinds of colors of people. What are they talking about?
Yeah, I thought it was a variety. I mean,
I thought we don't talk about. I thought it doesn't even matter or even is noticed anymore. What the hell?
Well, it does get noticed when the back of the helmets they end racism and stuff like that. And but Chris Stapleton did the national anthem.
I was not. I wasn't offended by any of that either. I loved it. I love those two.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I didn't have a huge problem with the Super Bowl last night, other than the fact that I thought the commercials kind of sucked.
And the playing field was looked like it was pretty slippery. But
I think
really tested the guys.
Sonia, there's a much bigger message behind that guy's editorial today. It goes on and on and on and on and says, this is the way the world not only is going, but already is. So his tongue-in-cheek at haters is because if you go halfway down, here's something he points out. There's a new show coming out on Fox called The Farmer Needs a Wife.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes point of the fact that on Fox, they have gone out of their way to make sure that one of the farmers is African-American. So all the courting and all the relationship stuff and all the romance and stuff and on and on and on is going to play out on Fox, which every time I bring this up, some people get a little upset with. But it's not left or right. It's not liberal or conservative. It's funny. They're going to put out a show. The world is going that way. And to sit there and say, oh, the liberals are trying to turn this world into something it's not is dead wrong. The world is going a certain way. Catch up. That's the way it is. Because there ain't anybody... There isn't some liberal cabal inside Fox that's saying, how can we woke the world?
There's a whole generation that's going to end up dying, and all the new generation is not going to be prejudiced anymore, and it's going to all balance itself out. How's that?
That's all anybody's saying. That is the perfect definition of what woke is all about.
Okay, now
I want to tell you something too that I believe, and I'm a psychic here, but that government people, none of them represent me or anybody else I know. They're all hysterical. The left and the right and everybody. The Democrats, everybody's hysterical. Amen. I'm not part of it. They don't even represent me. So the TV's gotten ridiculous. The housewives of whatever and the whole, jeez, like all these reality shows and stuff. But I'd rather talk about UFOs, actually.
Yeah, we would.
Rather than talk about these government people.
Prove my point. We might get into this later if we have time. There is a new show called MILF Manor.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And it's 8 women from all across the country that are trying to have some fun with guys 20 years their junior. But here's the catch. The 8 boy toys
are their kids.
The sons of the women.
The sons of the MILFs. I know. It's just
so there's moms watching their son hit on the other 7 women. And let's just hope during the course of like episode 5 or 6 that they all don't get drunk enough that one mother and one son end up together because they're so drunk they don't even realize who they're with.
Oh my Lord.
So
Sandy says
capitalism demands that if 2 things haven't been nailed together yet, that's how you make your money.
Sandy says there are black cowboys and farmers.
Oh yeah,
Yes, there are.
We know that.
I'm in Ohio. I'm in Ohio. I know black farmers and cowboys.
Thank
I'm a
you.
horsewoman. I have plenty of black and blue and brown and green and red and every other color.
They spent 20 years developing last night's turf. 20 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
the whole thing about that being slippery, too.
It was pretty bad. Did
Yeah.
not
It was
like
something
the
to
halftime
watch.
show. Didn't like Rihanna, and she is pregnant. Should not be acting like what I call a fool.
Ah, negative people, all negative. Just be quiet.
No, it's not negative. And
Just be
also,
quiet.
all right, here's a question that maybe you're not going to like this question, either one of you. I don't remember there being a law that says you have to like everybody. So there are people that don't have to. You don't have to like them if you don't want to like them.
Yeah.
Now, I understand there are laws against being a certain way, but I mean, when it comes right down to it, you don't have to like people in this country. I mean, you just don't.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate,
But you know what?
you don't
You're
have
not
to.
allowed to be. You're not allowed to be mean.
You are allowed
you know,
to be mean.
You're allowed to be angry about something, but you're not allowed to be mean. I draw a line there.
Damar Hamlin showed up last night,
Yep.
and now he's getting backlash because he was wearing a jacket that was basically mocking Jesus on the back of it. It has a caricature of Jesus and shows his hands.
I didn't see
feet
that.
nailed, and
I didn't see that. Did you?
Yeah.
Did anybody see that? I didn't see
I
that.
saw it. I definitely saw it. At
Okay.
least I saw what I saw on social media. And he's getting a lot of backlash from people saying, hey, look, you had half this country praying in the name of Jesus that you survived and got better. And now he was wearing a jacket that was supposedly mocking. Are you looking it up, Mike?
No,
I thought you
I'm
were.
listening.
And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm happy the guy is alive, of course, and I'm happy.
Nobody asked him in the interview.
I don't think anybody's going to ask that kind of question. You can't ask that guy anything. I thought it was kind of funny that he had.
You can't say like, "What's up with the T-shirt?" That's not a good question.
Jacket, but he had a team of doctors with him, and I thought it was kind of funny. They're all patting him on the back and slapping him on the chest and everything. Like the guy almost died because he took a hit to the chest. Do we need to be slapping him on the chest? But I guess they're his doctors. Maybe they know better.
That's funny, Seth.
It is. Yeah, that truly is.
I don't even know what to say if he's allowed to wear a T-shirt like that. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if he was mocking on purpose or whether what it was considered, but
well, here's the thing: he didn't sew that jacket himself. Somewhere there's a designer who's selling jackets that are probably $3,500 a piece that are making fun, and that's the one he bought. I mean, that's once again.
Well, I mean, it's an inappropriate choice if he did buy it.
No kidding. How many times has he said "thank God" since he's been interviewed, since he's been in the hospital?
And I don't know. I'm just
like that.
Again.
Come on.
Social media is what it is, so I don't know what to believe when you watch social media. I mean,
No
you
kidding.
get somebody on TikTok who's complaining about his jacket. Who knows whether they're meant to be insulting or not? I have no idea. But it's definitely another one of the stories out there. Jim Isabella is having some internet issues, so we'll get to him in a little while. I guess we should talk about this alien stuff, and that's why you're on. Whether it's Chinese, whether it's aliens, I don't know what it is. But let's take a quick break.
All right.
Hopefully, Jim will get on and join us. If not, we'll talk about this in just a few.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Hang on.
What
All right.
separates Triv's restaurant in Strongsville from everybody else? Some restaurants you go to eat the same thing over and over and over. But then there are restaurants like Triv's where you want to go there every single time and eat something different until you have eaten every single item on the menu. Why? Because the food's delicious, and it has been for almost a quarter of a century. Triv's has amazing food, outstanding service, and an opportunity for you to have private dining, special events, and intimate occasions. You can enjoy a memorable fine dining experience in your own dedicated, intimate space. Visit Triv's in the heart of Strongsville. Call now for reservations, 440-238-8830. Triv's in Strongsville. Joe Burdick custom flags are amazing. Each flag is handcrafted to reflect the imperfect perfection, making each piece of patriotic wall art unique. This is a local small business, veteran-owned and proud. Joe Burdick creates symbolic artwork that is built to last. Display your spirit, pride, and patriotism by calling 440-305-2065 and let Joe's Flags serve you. 440-305-2065. Joe Burdick Flags. Let me introduce you to Charlie's Auto Repair. Any car, any truck, any problem, Charlie's does it right. You know how it is. The check your engine light comes on, you put air in the tires, and the light is still on. 216-470-0170. That's Charlie's Auto Repair, 13728 Madison in Lakewood. Charlie can do it all, from small engine repair to fleet maintenance and system diagnostics. Winter is here, so call Charlie's Auto Repair for snow plowing needs. 216-470-0170. Charlie's Auto Repair. Let Charlie make your car great once again.
All right, back here on the Seth Williams Show with Mike Tasaka, Psychic Sanyo with us as well. Jim Isabella, I don't know, still having internet problems. So get up. Let's see here. Love sound. Yep.
Excuse me.
Look, you got fans, Sonia. Thank you.
I do. Oh, thanks.
There you go.
Love you. All right, good. Sandy was asking. She hadn't seen a picture. I don't have a picture of the. I sent her a picture of the jacket, but I mean, if you look it up, you can find it. Adrian Peterson is coming out against the jacket, calling it blasphemy. So Adrian Peterson thinks it's blasphemy. I don't know, but there's a lot of people out there that are criticizing it. But you can't criticize DeMar because of everything he's been through, and I get it. It's fine.
You sure as hell can. He's not immune. If he
is, it's kind of immune. I don't know if he was bad or not. I've seen the jacket. I don't know.
Yeah, if I haven't seen the picture yet, I'm looking for it. If it's sacrilegious, it's sacrilegious, and the hell will they give the $9 million back from the people that prayed for him?
Right.
Well, I mean, just Google DeMar Hamlin jacket. It pops right up. I mean,
Okay.
You can see the images of it. If you have a comment or anything you want to talk about,
Well, I've got a comment.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm not gonna worry about what everybody's doing wrong. I've only got enough energy to worry about what I can do right.
There you go.
So this guy wearing a stupid jacket, or government people doing this and that, all this stupid. I'm almost 60 years old, and I'm so much more zen now, and feel so much better without worrying about what everybody's doing wrong now. And it is offensive if he's dishing Jesus. It is offensive, some of these things, but I no longer get upset over it.
But isn't that where our country is right now? We are so divided. And
I don't get. I'm over it. I don't even care. I'm an independent. I'm a registered Democrat, and I'm so pissed off at the Democrats I can't even. So I just choose not to let it bother me. I'm more focused on getting healthy and making sure I leave wealth to my children, and
I get that, but the problem with
what I'm doing
is that whether we like it or not, the Democrats or the Republicans, one of them is going to be in charge, and they are taking your wealth, and so you're not going to have as much as you'd like to leave to your kids. And the reality of the situation is, I do have a 16-year-old daughter that I have to worry about.
Yeah,
and I have to worry about how she's being taught at school, what she's being taught at school. And so there's a lot of things that, Look, I know a lot of people that put their head in the sand and like to sit there and ignore the fact that anything's going on and just kind of live their lives. But the point is that at some point you can't. At some point,
I'm telling you, it's not giving up. It's just I'd no longer get upset by it anymore. I don't hang out with drug addicts. I don't hang out with alcoholics. I don't hang out with depressed people. I hang out with survivors. I love everybody, but I'm so over worrying about what everybody's doing wrong. I would not be one of those people that on there complaining. I don't complain about it and are affected by it. I'm keeping to my family and my friends and my way. And if the shit hits the fan, I'm out of here. I've got, I can survive at this house right now. We have wood stoves for heat. We're raising chickens. We got eggs. We have gardens. We have horses if I have to bug out of here, I can saddle up horses and run.
Yeah. See,
if I had to,
I'm not running anywhere because my leg will fall off. And I don't have enough food here for probably tonight, much less
I'm sorry to hear
month.
that. But I mean, I don't mean to sound critical, but it's just like a lot of the stuff on TV, I just don't watch it, and I don't get too upset because I'm very empathic, so I can get it can like depress me. So that's why I'm trying not to worry what everybody's doing wrong. I'm trying to worry about what I can do, what I can do, you know.
And that's a good attitude to have. I just I for whatever reason I get sucked up into this stuff, and I think.
Well, you're good at it, but you two are good at it, so it's good for you two to decipher it and to talk about it and stuff. But for me, being a spiritualist, you know, and giving readings and stuff, I've entered that stage in this life where I'm like happy.
Before we move on,
I'm not a crabby bitch. I'm a really nice person.
Before we move on to the alien stuff or whatever's in the skies, you have a psychic fair coming up, is that right?
It's not my psychic fair, but I'm joining in. It'll be at Yorktown Bowling Lanes on Pearl Road in Parma Heights there this coming Sunday. And it starts about 11 o'clock, ends at 5. The readings are only $30. There's free parking. It's free to come in. And also they got some really good vendors if you like some unique shopping items, crystals and books and things, really good stuff. So I'll be there reading. Come in, you just buy time to sit down with me. It's $30 for each session, and I'll tell your future.
See, that's awesome. That's Sunday. It starts at 11, you said?
It starts at 11 and goes till 5.
Sandy finally got on to the message thing. So Jim created the chat for her. So good. Sandy can finally message again, and we're all happy about that.
Yeah.
Until she flips off Mike and says she's never watching the show again. But other than that, I'm happy that she's on.
Okay.
So, all right. So we got to get into what's going on in the skies. I've been watching the news pretty much all day today.
Yeah.
And there is a lot, and the government is being very, well, they're not saying a whole lot. I mean, I watched all the news conferences today. They had John Kirby roll him out there, and he said next to nothing. And then they had the Department of Defense come out and say next to nothing.
Right.
And so I'm kind of curious as to what is going on.
Okay. Well, we all know that we're in an age of surveillance, right?
Yeah.
And if they were to watch every little thing going on in the sky, they would be like picking up like flocks of birds and little balloons that are loose, and they can't keep an eye on everything. But I think that this has been going on a lot longer than we knew about. It's just now, because we've destroyed a few of these surveillance objects, now someone's in trouble. I think they're unmanned drones, and if they were UFOs, the only way we're going to get the truth is if the pilots come forward with their own video. If we end up getting some of that video, because everybody's got the fighters and everybody has video. So where's that, right?
Yeah.
So if there could be a cover up within the cover up, there could be people that don't even know, just like they did with Roswell. So I do believe that they're shooting down balloons, but if they're shooting other things down, I think that pilots have gone after UFOs before and they've never been able to successfully shoot them down. They're too fast. So I feel like these are some kind of drones or unmanned drones or stuff that are not of extraterrestrial. I think they're of our governments or China. I think they're just what if they were to drop pathogens? What if they were to drop a bomb? What if they were to drop something because they could fly in undetected? Because they're so small. That's what worries me more than it being a UFO shot down.
Here's some of the stuff that they said today. They said that they're unmanned. They said that they don't have the capability to maneuver. They don't have any like propeller capability or propulsion, whatever it is, capability to move. So what are they? They just tossing stuff up in the air and let it go? I don't know. And how does it just end up? Some
kind of high-tech balloon drone. There's some kind of drones, unmanned drone things.
I mean, there has to be propelled by
different
something.
Designs.
Yeah,
we'll get that octagon, one big, they're all different.
A cylinder. They got this. Well, they got the big spy balloon, but then they have an octagon, a cylinder, and I don't know what the other one was. One
size
they said was the size of a car. So I there seems to be a lot of stuff just kind of flying up there, and we're shooting stuff down all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. I want to see this video that these pilots have. That's what I wanted to see.
They're looking at something, and so that's why I'm worried. Or I'm not worried, but what concerns me about the government, but everything concerns me about the government, they're not telling us what they know, because they know what the hell they shot down. They know what these pilots saw.
Mm-hmm.
Pilots have video of what they shot down. They don't just shoot randomly at stuff. So they know what they shot down, and they're not telling us what happened.
I absolutely agree with you.
I will give them a couple days to recover the stuff that is still, in the frozen waters off the coast of Alaska. So, there should be more and more and more, because the people's curiosity sure ain't going away.
They're going to shoot them all down now.
Yeah. Let me throw this into the mix. What if it ain't a government? What if we find out that businesses are figuring out and looking for statistics and gathering information, and a lot of this stuff is all private? That may be a whole can of worms that they're not going to tell us about, because they don't want us to know. When we were doing show prep, Seth said to me the prospect about, well, maybe the government won't say anything about UFOs. And I said to Seth, the first thing that popped into my head is, if they can come here from wherever they're from, if they have the technology to get here, they have the technology to light up the sky with a message that says, we ain't China.
Yeah.
Force the government's hand. And then how stupid does the government look? Government's almost in a position, if it is extraterrestrial, they have to tell the truth. They got to risk the truth coming out, and they're not the ones that said it to us.
They're definitely hiding it. I have a sister who is deceased, and she's in the U.S. Air Force. And as a little girl, I would constantly ask her about UFOs. And then when I lived in Litchfield, Ohio, I asked her again because she was visiting, and she dragged me out of the house all the way back into the cornfield, about 2 acres back in the middle of nowhere in that cornfield, and said, "Quit asking me." And I said, "Why?" She goes, "Your house could be bugged." She goes, they have listening devices. She goes, "We're not allowed to talk about that." Yeah. And I said, "Well, then you're validating that there's something going on." She goes, "Of course there's something going on, but they're never going to admit it."
Right.
They're never going, and we could get in trouble for talking about it.
We live in a world.
So my sister just confirmed to me that there is something going on, and I think there's covered up inside the government. I don't think the government knows. I don't think presidents are privy to all this.
Not only that, but we live in a world where if you talk to somebody in your living room about something, the next day on your phone, there's a pop-up ad for what you were talking about. Yeah. And that doesn't bother anybody.
Right.
So if that doesn't bother anybody, quit asking about what's going on in the skies, because you don't really care.
There is surveillance. Surveillance is all around us. Everybody needs to remember that.
And it wouldn't surprise me at all if it wasn't a government at all, or if it was a government that nobody, knew.
I think Roswell, there was a recovered crash site in Roswell. In fact, there was more than one that dropped in. There's evidence. And there are people on their deathbeds who have confessed that when they were dying, I'm not supposed to say anything, but I'll say it now, we did recover bodies. That was a UFO crash. And then all of a sudden we got microwave technology, fiber optic technology. We got all this technology within like 2-3 years. We just advanced so much. It's because we reversed engineered everything. And I believe they have recovered UFOs. I believe in it. I think most of the population believes it too.
Here's my theory. The government knows that they're coming here and they are from another planet. It is UFO. But you know why it proves that they are of a superior intelligence to us? Because they don't stop here. I think that what goes on is spaceships come here and there's a little kid in the passenger window, and the father points down at the earth and goes, "Look at this mess. This is what happens if you don't do your homework and you don't pay attention in school." And then they leave. I think other civilizations come here to go, "This is how you really screw things up, people."
Yeah, just hover over the east side, and show them that.
Right. That's what goes on. We're a training vessel for the rest of the smart world.
You think that the world is that bad that other countries wouldn't want to be here?
No, other countries. This planet is the one that everybody that has superior intelligence comes here and goes, look at Look at what these idiots are.
I don't think that God created something that imperfect that other worlds wouldn't want to see it. I don't think that we're all that bad. We may not have the right ideas at times, but I don't think God created something so horrible.
Well, if I was an alien, I would love to come here and see all the wildlife and the beauty here. It's beautiful here.
Joke.
Absolutely, I'd want to see it.
I like your joke. That was good. Hey, son, look.
I take him seriously. So, I did think it was kind of funny today, though, that one of the reporters asked John Kirby the question of, do we have balloons and surveillance that are flying over China right now? And he said, no, of course not. Well, what do you want him to say? Yes, we do.
Yeah, right.
Who's going to go on TV and say, yeah, we're spying on China currently? I mean, it's out of hand what's going on. And the government's not going to tell the truth on any of this stuff.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell us exactly what's going on, who's being spied on. They had to tell the truth because some schmuck went out with his cell phone and was able to see this balloon and post it on social media.
That's right.
They had to tell you something.
That's right. That's how it's going to happen. That's why I know the pilots, if they come back with any kind of footage,
right?
If that was a UFO, they are going to confiscate that. No one's going to see it.
If you read between the lines, the government gave itself away with regard to the big white balloon. They have admitted that they were able to track that balloon from the time it left China, and that they had never had a way to track those things before. And so the reason why they let it drift all over was to keep testing whether or not their surveillance system actually was going to work from now on.
Yeah.
Now, that's the kind of thing, which is why when a reporter stands there with a microphone and says, well, tell us, there are certain things you don't want China to know that we know.
Right.
Well, it's not going to be said on the 6 o'clock news.
Right. I totally agree. I think there's a conspiracy inside the conspiracy.
Thank you.
What's going on?
So the fact that they waited to let it go where it was going to go and then capture the thing over water, that didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean it didn't bother you?
I didn't mind that they waited 3 days to shoot it down.
I would have shot it down immediately. If we're going to shoot something down that's flying, the damn balloon flew over.
If you're learning something brand new, like we really can follow these things, because like you said, they don't fly on their own accord.
Okay, so, but in the meantime of finding out something new, we found out that it was flying over nuclear weapon sites, over sites that were building aircraft, military stuff. They're flying over key military sites across our country and transmitting information back. Why would there isn't anything they don't know? There isn't anything they don't know already. They take these pictures from space and satellites all the time. You can go to Google Earth. You can, if you do Google Earth and you got 20 years of free time, you could recreate a picture of the entire planet. You could know as much as China knows.
Mm-hmm. I have a suggestion for you guys for UFO information. I watched a documentary by a guy named Charles White, and they made this documentary about this guy, and it's called Walking with the Tall Whites. And he's a military guy who has memories of interacting with the aliens on the base. He was one of the weather guys out in the base, out in the desert. And I recommend everybody to watch that if they're interested in UFOs and
the name one more time for everybody.
It's called Walking with the Tall Whites.
And Jim Isabella joins us now.
Charles Hall.
Charles Hall.
Well, he's the subject of the movie, but it's called Walking with the Tall Whites. Now, I can't remember if it's on Netflix or Amazon, but it was one of those. It's listed. It's under UFO documentary. Very good. Watch that, and we'll talk. Because Google Earth, they have a picture at the very end of the movie. They have a picture of Google Earth where they have a photo of, how they do the mapping. They've got the little Tic Tac ships on the ground in the desert. They showed us.
Didn't learn a damn thing that it hasn't been public knowledge since the 50s.
Yeah. But I believe in UFOs. I've had some experiences, and I've had witnesses with me when it's happened. So I wasn't the only one there. And I do believe. I think you ask most Americans, they believe in UFOs, and it's just a matter of time before they admit all of it. The government admits it all.
All right. Well, we welcome Jim Isabella finally to the show. Jim, how you doing?
Can you hear me?
We can. Sounds like you're shaving.
I wonder where that came from.
It's it's an alien tracking device.
Great.
Yeah, they're talking over us.
but we can hear you. How you doing tonight?
You can't hear me. Okay.
One of the UFOs is talking to your toaster.
Oh, my Lord. It's been that kind of day, guys. I'll tell you. It's been that kind of day. But you can hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Loud and clear.
Okay. So anyway, I don't know where that's coming from, but anyhow, so I would like to propose a plan that we have Americans that we send up in our own balloons and they look for these things and shoot them down.
I agree with that. We'll start just sending everybody up and start shooting stuff down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm not going to say what it actually sounds like. It sounds
Yeah,
like
and
we're
then
having a
somebody's
good
going to
time.
shoot you, and then somebody's going to shoot you down because they think you're one of them balloons.
Details. I mean, look, the fact that John Kirby, one of the wimpy spokespeople for Biden, said, well, we're going to do that. We're more aware of things than we were before. Oh, that's good. So you had people gathering information right over your damn country and you couldn't see it? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
I think it shows you the asinine people running that government that don't know what to look for. I mean, you always anticipate the worst and hope for the best. And these guys clearly don't know how to do that. And the more I watch the Biden people, the more one thought keeps coming into my head. Stupido. They're just not bright people and they don't know how to deal with things.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that statement. I mean, they're not being forthcoming, that's for sure. And so we don't really know what's going on. And they let stuff just fly over the country. Now what they said is they were able to find these other objects because they heightened the sensitivity of the radar system. Well,
Yep.
Shouldn't have been heightened to begin with. Isn't that something that maybe we want to be heightened from the very beginning? And now we just start all of a sudden looking for objects. Maybe we should have
No,
been
they
looking
knew
the
about
entire
these.
time. Of
They
course
knew
did.
about this.
Of course they
Here's
did.
the only problem, and this is everybody's got to consider this. We change governments, we vote for parties. There are elections that have majority shift back and forth and on and on and on. That doesn't happen in the Pentagon. So my point is, it's the same team. The 20, 30, 40-year vets at the Pentagon have served Republican and Democratic presidents. It's not that things get smarter or dumber based on who's in the White House.
I totally
That's the whole
disagree. Now,
entity.
I'm not gonna say the White House has control over the Pentagon. What I'm saying is that a president, a real president, by now, after 4 objects have been shot down over the United States or Canada, over North America, a real president would get in front of the people of the United States and say, "This is what's going on."
Right.
And he is yet to do that. And
Listen,
they're going to
that
send
bothers
out
me
Kirby.
too.
They're going to send out their little spokespeople and say nothing to us. And this has never happened before. If it was another president, I'm not going to name names. If it was another president, that guy or anybody would have been out in front of that camera saying, "This is what's going on." And this guy is not doing that.
And what if it ain't a foreign government? What if it is proof that business and corporations are running their own separate system of collecting data and intelligence, and both sides ain't ready to tell us that yet?
Well, somebody needs to tell us that. I don't care who it is. You need to come out and say what it is. There's going to be people that are panicking. There's going to be people that are worried about what's going on. My daughter's asking me if we're going to go to war with China now. They need to come out with an answer. I don't care who it is, corporate or UFOs, whatever.
I think we're about a week away.
We're never going to know. We still don't know who killed JFK, okay? They're never going to tell us. They don't want to tell us nothing. They don't want to tell us anything.
Well, they'll tell you if it's to their advantage. I mean, that's just the way government works. I think that we're really at this particular point, and at least in my thought process, I think that we have clearly shown that we have a bunch of people who not only are incompetent in government, but they don't know how to react. And see, that's the key to everything. We wait, first of all, to react. The second thing is we don't plan. And one of the things I don't like about government is how do you think this is going to, this is literally, I thought about this the other day. This is physically and literally a trial balloon or balloons. They are literal trial balloons. What you have is they're testing our willpower and are we committed to stopping this stupidity? And quite frankly, until the political pressure came, until somebody spotted that balloon, we had this damn thing floating over military installations. Now, as I understand it, one of the first thoughts that came to everybody's head was, guess what? This is a listening device. And where were they over? There are military installations. So they were trying to listen in on our stuff.
Who do you think the they is, Jim?
What I think what?
What's your guess as to who the they is?
Oh, it's China.
All four of them?
Yep.
All four designs? All four?
Yep. China is a ruthless group of people. If like one part of their country blew up, they'd say, well, like the Lay's potato chips will make more. They don't care. They don't care about people. And the trial balloon, I think, also is, gee, could we drop a small thermonuclear device on people, or could we poison things, or can we scramble communication issues?
Yeah.
See, I think that all plays into it. That's my theory anyway. I just think they're experimenting. They're testing our will and also saying, well, if we can slide this in, how much easier is it to do other things? Now, the thing about China is they've got their own problems right now with their economy, their population, everything's going downward.
Yep.
So I think that they've got some serious, serious issues to deal with. And it's not going to get any better for them, but they are aggressive. They want to be the next, Napoleon, Julius Caesar, in the smaller venues in those days. But that's what they want to do. They want to be they want to run the world, and you keep asking yourself, why? Don't you think you got 1 billion people is enough to handle? Apparently they don't.
Yeah, and then now they're going to go off with this whole UFO. I mean, everybody's almost in a panic and over. Everybody's like, it's a big conspiracy. It's really a UFO. And now it begins. They're here, and that's also a huge distraction. And we're supposed to be able to trust our government and trust that we're going to be kept safe. But now we know there's a big vulnerability now that needs to be addressed, and they're not addressing it. And so everybody's all off on this UFO thing, but surprisingly, I don't think they're UFOs. I think they're man-made.
Oh, I think they are too. But the other thing is if you go back to the movie, what was the movie? Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith,
Independence
Day. Men in Black.
Men in Black. Okay. What is one of the quotes? Will Smith says, "I think the public can handle it," and Tommy Lee Jones says, "No, they want to have this. They don't want to know anything. They want to just, come home and live their lives." I'm paraphrasing. They have. That's the truth, is that they don't think the public could handle it. If it wasn't a UFO, people probably would commit suicide and do crazy things, because that's what people do. They panic and they overreact.
Remember War of the Worlds, guys. I mean, remember that little social experiment the outcome was not what we expected.
Well,
I mean, even John Kirby came out today, and John Kirby was asked, "Are these aliens?" And he said, "I don't think that the American people have to worry about aliens right now."
Right.
Right now.
He didn't say, "Come on, get a break. This is not aliens. This is the Chinese. They're screwing with us." He said, "I don't think the American people need to worry about aliens right now."
Well, the device going over Canada kind of also tells you, and there was a report of one in Latin America as well. Now, I don't know if that meant Central America or South America. Latin America is a big, stupid term. You narrow it down for me a little bit. But I do think that part of the problem with all of this is that the Biden government, if you go back, this all goes back to Afghanistan. Because when they blew up the 13 soldiers and we didn't react to it immediately, which we should have, that opened the door for what? For Russia to invade, right? And now China's doing their test work. because they look at Biden, and let's talk about stereotypes for a second. He looks like a feeble old man. You don't think other leaders look at him as that feeble old man and his lack of reaction to things and the fact that they come late to the party and react? I'm telling you, Afghanistan turned out to be maybe the Waterloo for the Biden administration as far as protecting us, which is in the biggest part of the Constitution. You got to protect us. And I just feel like we are just at a point in our lives where you have this babbling buffoon on and talking about stuff, and everybody talking about Trump. Do you think Trump would have blown some of those out of the sky? Now, there are reports that some people said, well, this happened during the Trump years. I'm not sure. Did it?
Well, what if it did?
And what if it did? Did they react to it? That's the question.
No, they didn't even have the technology to track them then.
Well, we do now, apparently.
I'm no apologist for the former president of the United States.
I'm not either.
But when they admitted that there were maybe 4 different instances where the same kind of balloon was around and they didn't know about it, this time around, when they were able to track it from the time it was launched, I believe that all they did when it was wandering over the United States was test our ability to track it, because they knew that that little balloon wasn't gaining any secrets and stuff we didn't know. They didn't know about.
Well, it had to be gaining something. They wouldn't just shoot it over here and fly it over here just for nothing. They weren't just having a good time with a balloon. They were either testing this administration or they were doing something.
Or they were testing the balloon.
You can fly it over anywhere. I think this has been going over us.
These balloons, this stuff's been going on for a long time. They just got busted. That's all.
Yeah, we do it too.
It's been going on for a while. It's just now we're hearing about it.
Well, that could be true. I think that the thing about, and someone just put on about China, Russia testing our radar performance capabilities, very true. But I do think that now we are at a point where, and I think everybody's got to ask this question, are we going to continue, and the American people, are they going to pay attention and continue it? I will tell you right now, I had a discussion with several people over the weekend.
Okay.
And one of the most important things that I saw is that the American people pay more attention, the younger ones, to that stupid Chinese filter of information, TikTok, than they do about their government. I had a conversation with somebody who's young. They're in their 30s. They don't know squat of how the government works.
Right.
They don't even know how the system works. And they're bitching and moaning about the Electoral College. And I'm like, well, what is it that you think? Well, it's not the Constitution, this and that. And they said, I want my vote to count. I said, did you not get the part where in each state you have to vote? And that's how the Electoral College works. And they got to win state by state. Well, I want my vote to count. And it's like, this is the problem. The kids know nothing, and the younger generation know very few of them understand how government works. Or better, even if they do, they don't care.
And here's the sad thing, Jim.
Volunteers who work the elections. They're
Where's
old
the
people.
public outcry to teach civics? This has been going on for 20 years. You're absolutely right. There's a whole generation that doesn't know how a bill becomes a law, what a bicameral legislature means, and nobody is going to the school board. They're going to a school board to tell them what books we can't read, but nobody is saying, please teach civics again.
Well, I will agree. These kids are getting a lot more from their phones and their social media than they are out of school.
Amen.
Well, Bill Maher,
hang on, Jim. We got to take a quick break here, and I'm going to throw this out. We can get back into this. One, don't get rid of TikTok. They can steal my information. I just want to look at the hot chicks on there. Two, this is a distraction, somebody said to me earlier today.
Yeah.
This is a distraction where we have a Hunter Biden hearing going on, a big tech hearing going on, where they're banning people on Twitter that know stuff. They're banning doctors and people that know stuff. They're having all these hearings that are going on. All of a sudden, We have space objects flying around and over our skies, and now it's a distraction from other things going on. That could be it too. But let's take a quick break, and we'll get right back into it in about 2 minutes. Hang on. Hey, it's Seth from Mario's Barbershop in Parma, 7526 Broadview Road in the Pleasant Valley Shopping Center right next to Big Lots. You got to check out Mario, man. Great guy, does a lot for charities, but can perform miracles with hair. He even made me look clean cut. Does my hair, does a great job. Love talking to the guy while I'm sitting there. It's a great place to go, local business. You gotta go to Mario's Barbershop in Parma. Mario's Barbershop in Parma, 7526 Broadview Road. Again, in Parma, Pleasant Valley Shopping Center, right next to Big Lots. Or give them a call, 216-520-1977. That's 216-520-1977. Mario's Barbershop in Parma.
Trust Joe's Lakewood Computer at 14035 Madison in Lakewood. They have over 30 years of professional service handling laptop and desktop repair services, virus removal, and data migration, and much more. You can trust them with hardware updates to your computer's memory and hard drive. Call 216-651-3880. Whether you need a simple Windows install or you're interested in the latest computers for gaming, call Joe's Lakewood Computer at 216-651-3880.
This is Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers for attorney Will Spiegelberg. Will Spiegelberg is not only a name you know, he's someone you can trust as your attorney no matter the circumstance. Will Spiegelberg is an attorney you can always count on. Will Spiegelberg is the attorney you should contact for all your legal work. When you need an attorney, call Will Spiegelberg at 216-233-4240. Attorney Will Spiegelberg, a great teammate. 216-233-4240.
Right back here on the Seth Williams Show with Mike Yusilka. And we're talking about the objects. That's what the government's calling them, except for the one. One was a balloon. The other one they're calling objects flying over Canada, U.S., Alaska, all over the place. So what do you think? You can leave your comments. Do you think maybe it's a distraction? Joe Burdick joins the show. He said, what did he miss? You missed us talking about the Super Bowl. And Brianna is pregnant, and of course the aliens that are flying over top of us.
Oh man!
Yeah, and I missed placing a bet.
Yeah, and Jim, you have to hear this one. Sonia had the best prediction of all time. The best prediction. So at 6:27 p.m. last night, she sends me a text. Super Bowl. The team who wears red will beat the others. Chiefs by 3. And dead on.
I was also right about the ice storm that I said was going to come in February and knock out power for a couple days.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
Yeah, and then next is going to be the floods, and Kentucky's going to get hit again, and in between where Virginia and West Virginia comes together, there's going to be big floods, and then also this year Ohio is going to get hit with 3 big tornadoes.
Really?
Yeah, I was part of my predictions. I wrote them all down and reminded you. And then did you get your bath rug? I predicted you were going to get a bath rug.
I got a bath mat.
Okay.
So yes, I
okay, good.
Close enough.
But what's funny is the night that you talked about that, my wife and I was after I was done with the show, I brought up to her. I said, she said we're going to get a bath mat, and she reminded me that the day before we literally said we were going to go out and get a bath mat. So that's absolutely bizarre.
She's listening in on your phone, Seth.
I'm telling you, part of the Chinese plan here.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Did you want to know what my prediction was? It was on Facebook.
What?
I said if I was betting the game, I would have bet Philadelphia, but my gut kept telling me Kansas City. So the gut won out, and of course it's a big enough gut, it should have won out. But I think the funniest thing about all this is I wrote on my Facebook, hey, just enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You want to know what's wrong with the country? I said, just relax and enjoy it. People had to get political.
Oh, yeah.
They had to get stupid about a game. And by the way, to Rihanna, I got to say one thing. If you're pregnant, don't bring all those sperm around you that you had at that halftime. I think that's what were they supposed to be, like sperm or something stupid?
No.
Yeah.
What were those things?
It was supposed to be stylish, puffy jackets, like the puffy, hip hop puffy. I don't know. puffy jackets. I don't know. It was supposed to be a
Just get some
fashion.
fat guy to wear something white. That would have taken care of the problem.
Well, they wore white to reflect the colors.
Oh, jeez.
James
That
says
was one of the crappiest performances in the history of mankind because all she did is grab her crotch and her butt. And
Yeah, she
the
did do a lot
music
of that.
sucks. Now, I understand there is the, what is it called? The different genres of music. I get that I don't like that. But all they did was walk up and down a platform, grab her crotch and her butt. She did it herself. And it's like, okay, what do you think? Are Michael Jackson now, the female version?
Well,
And I just found you know what? That's 30 minutes of my life. I'm glad I was doing other things. And I was talking to my brother because I said, this just sucks. They paid her buku money. And by the way, to Apple, go suck your phones because they suck too. I don't like Apple phones. I don't like their product. I think they're full of crap. But I will say
I think they're a cult.
the Super Bowl was great. And by the way, what a vast, vast, vast improvement on the commercials. Much more interesting, whether you liked them or not. They were at least interesting. I thought the Ben Affleck one with Jennifer Lopez was clever as hell.
That was my favorite.
God knows what they paid for that. But you know the other thing, gentlemen and ladies, I think that the biggest thing was when people, I'm going to say this, the referees make some bad calls here and there. Okay? I've seen people whining, crying about the referee calls. Shut the hell up. The referees are bad for everybody. I watch enough games. They stink. Okay? So you can see that. So if you're a big-time team like Mahomes, I bet they got a couple of questionable calls against them. They went down the field and they drove down the field. They went and they were going to find a way to win that game. And by the way, you saw two sensational quarterbacks, neither of whom choked, which was great. They both performed. That's what a football game should be. Entertaining, enjoyable, and all the critics of the football game, you're a bunch of
My
morons.
favorite commercial was the Blue Moon commercial.
The what?
The Blue Moon commercial.
Oh yeah, that was
really
good.
For 58 seconds, it looks like Coors and Miller are fighting it out. And Blue Moon blows them both away, goes, no. This
That was
is a
good.
Blue Moon commercial.
Well, and I think they did a great job of that. The Batman Michael Keaton thing for the promoting another movie.
I
That
didn't
was
get
pretty
the
cool.
M&M's commercial. Somebody explain the M&M's commercial to me.
No idea.
You know what that is?
I didn't get that.
The bad Saturday Night Live people who think they're funny.
Isn't it?
Maya Rudolph is not that funny. And by the way,
You take that back.
What?
You didn't watch Bridesmaids, obviously. You take that back.
Hold on.
She's brilliant.
You ever see the movie Ocean's 8? Where the all female version of the George Clooney stuff?
Yeah.
That sucked. That sucked. And let me tell you,
I'm gonna predict that Jim doesn't have many girlfriends or something. He sounds so negative all the time.
no,
You sound like you complain a lot. You don't find any joy in any of it.
I found joy in the Super Bowl.
But you complained about Rihanna.
he finds joy in his show because he's on
He was
it.
complaining about the women. I don't like it.
He's complaining about the sperm.
I'm going to listen.
You can complain about everything else, but don't be complaining about my women.
Well, they weren't just women; they were also.
Well, Rihanna
guys.
sucks. That's all. That's.
No, she's awesome.
Hold on. If you know what, if they wanted an entertaining halftime show, and I'm not the biggest country music fan, I am not. Put on those country stars. That is the most popular form of music in the country right now. And I'm not a country music fan. I'm not.
You can't mix country music with those white puffy jackets. It's not going to work.
How do you know?
Oh God. Maybe that's what the Chinese were trying to figure out. What in God's name we do at Super Bowl halftime?
Well, after Prince, there's not going to be any other good shows after the Prince halftime. Other than that, after that, no, you can't even compare. So.
Well, wait. What about U2? You don't think U2 performed well?
No.
Yeah.
Not my favorite. Not my favorite.
I'm not a biggest U2 fan either, but the performance was good. Yeah. I look at performances. I look at something, even if I don't like the music, I can appreciate good performances. That's the thing. And they've had some great halftime shows, but I do think that really,
I
you know,
agree that it
I
wasn't the best halftime show, but we shouldn't be dishing her and saying how awful she is because she's not.
Yeah. Hey,
She's
Sonia, how about
She's a great performer, and so it wasn't your favorite, but
she
to say that she was,
why,
but to say that she stinks
but
is
she
not,
had, but her
no.
pick was horrible of her music because the music, when you're in a national stage like that, you need to go with your best, most popular stuff that maybe people could relate to, who may never watch you again. This was the chance. And I think she blew an opportunity for herself, but she's so rich. What does it matter? It really doesn't.
Of all her hits.
The biggest thing is the Super Bowl was all I cared about. That was the biggest thing of all. I thought that was just a top drawer, wonderful show, a wonderful game, wonderful commercials. What more for the 30 minutes of halftime? Who cares? Compared to all that other stuff, you're talking 90% of it was tremendous.
The only thing they could have done better was to have a UFO come down during the show. That would have been the best thing ever.
That's next year.
I'm surprised someone didn't do a balloon commercial. Who's going to be there next year,
Sonia?
Pardon me?
Who's going to be the entertainer next year? You got any early
next year
guesses as to that?
Probably Lizzo. Probably Lizzo.
Here's my prediction.
Because Lizzo can perform live. Lizzo can do it live.
Yeah, well, here's my prediction. This is my biggest fear.
All right.
The Browns are in the Super Bowl, and so we get some sort of polka band.
No, Michael Stanley. We'd probably get Michael Stanley and the Resonators.
Yes, he's
everybody out there with an accordion doing the polka. And hey, Cleveland's here.
See, now what I want to see a hologram of Michael Jackson and Prince out there.
I knew you were going to say that. I thought you were going to say Elvis.
And Bowie. And David Bowie.
Please, no kidding.
Yeah, I'd rather see a hologram than some of these fools, and the sound would probably be better.
Hologram of some past performers could be fun. And by the way,
like Whitney Houston.
We're about 5 years away from having that happen live. You're going to be able to go see whoever you want.
I got to go to a place that was downtown Cleveland with Triv, and we were actually looking at holograms to see like what we could do for like the benefit. And so we went to this place downtown, and literally they had a hologram on stage, and it was like watching somebody live in front of you. We didn't know a hologram when that person came out on stage. And they had a hologram that they were going to put into like a big piece of glass, and we're going to put it outside in the lobby of the Hilton, and it was going to be Triv inside of this glass. It was going to be a hologram of them that would talk to people on their way in to the benefit. So that technology is out there. They do that with like Celine Dion out in Vegas or whatever. But they could absolutely do it, and I think it would be a much better product.
And by the way, if you noticed, and nobody caught this because everybody was talking about this, that. The bad thing about all the halftime shows, when you have real grass, which they had, did you notice all the slippage after that? Because the turf, they even showed later, they had all these guys trying to fix the turf because they put all those heavy platforms. Well, remember what happened with the Guardians this year. The outfield got torn up as a result of a concert, and that outfield is pristine. But when you have these halftime things, if you had less stuff physically on the field, it would be much better for the teams if you're going to have, artificial turf. Someone said the game's in Vegas next year. Well, now hold on. The Raiders use the same technology do in Arizona, where they take the grass and it moves out to the outside. They can water it, give it sunshine and stuff. But they also have, for the college games and other games, they have artificial turf. So which one do they want to use? That would be an interesting storyline, because I do think these concerts physically affected that field. If you notice, people were slipping and falling. Plus the paint they put so much paint on that grass, people were sliding. Philadelphia had, I don't know how many sets of cleats they were using, trying to figure out how to do that. So the halftime show should not mess up those guys. And keep in mind one other thing, because of the length of halftime shows, this was point. Normally they're 14 minutes. Because of this show, it's 29. So all these, now I think it helped Kansas City, by the way, because their defense was gassed. But all that adrenaline's pumping. Usually you only have 14 minutes. You get in there, get a drink of water, go over your strategy, come back out. So those guys had a long time to sit around. So we'll see. I mean, I think that the halftime shows, you don't need all that paraphernalia. I think
Not with a Wayne Newton show, you don't.
But even Rihanna
Dr.
could have done it.
Shane, darling. Yeah, Wayne Newton.
Yeah, he rides out in a black Arab.
Oh, man.
All you have to do is put some microphones out there. You put the band on the sideline because the acoustic, you make it work.
Yeah.
And you don't have to tear up the field. I mean, people come to see if people are going to watch, they're watching for the performer. All that other dancing stuff is, whatever. But I do think more people care about the performance of the singer. There's a lot of great singers out there. I'm surprised, and I really thought about this. The one guy who's been so popular, even does a show called Barmageddon. If you haven't seen Barmageddon, that's a fun show where they're in a bar. Blake Shelton with Nikki Bella from the Bellas from the WWE. They do this show. They've done this show this year. It's been so much fun to watch. Where they just play silly games and stuff like that. They could have some silly fun things, like play like celebrity cornhole, or they can do silly fun things. They don't have to have elaborate halftime shows.
Why don't we do like the Browns used to do and just get a Ford pickup truck and have everybody try to guess how many Oreo cookies are in the back? Remember those?
Oh yeah,
remember things that they've done at Brown Stadium. Oh my God!
Yeah, or have people come out and try to kick field goals for money.
Right. Hey, whatever happened with Gronk? Did he make his field goal?
He missed.
It looked like
but they said they're still going to give out money.
Yeah,
that was a hype because we all kept saying, "When is it?" And it was like, really?
It was really boring, to be honest. I thought.
Well,
anyways.
I think. But again, the NFL is about money, and the performances aren't even as important to them as getting that money. And that's really important because if you looked at everything, I mean, right up to before the opening kickoff, then they had to do that. Now look at the Vince Lombardi trophy. And I think it was sponsored by somebody. Everything is sponsored. As a matter of fact, I was just saying, Pro Football Hall of Fame, you used to have it on the steps of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, right? They didn't charge you. Now you got to go into the stadium and they make a big deal. They turn in a whole production, which it didn't have to be. But guess what? They're charging the fans. But see, football is a license to print money at the college or even a high school level. Those are the most attended events in the United States. Football game. They're more attended. Super Bowl is the only one that gets 9 figures now, 100 million plus for viewership. Because football is an event. Everything else has, basketball you play 2 or 3 times a week, hockey 2 or 3 times, baseball every day. There's nothing special. But when you have once a week that crescendo,
Jim,
that's how you make money.
It's been said all over the world and many, many times. A lot of other governments around the world control their people with 15, 16-year-old kids in ill-fitting uniforms with non-matching dye lots. And in the United States, we control people because with sports. I mean, Karl Marx said religion was the opiate of the people. That's because if he'd have lived 40 years later, he'd have known it was organized sports. We go from football to basketball to baseball to college basketball to March Madness. There's like 3 weekends a year where there are no games, and you can't believe how people Jones because there's nothing to watch on TV.
Oh, next week will be that week.
Yeah, one of
them. Watch the NBA.
Well, I think it's 8 weeks.
I love the NBA, but just it's nothing. Again, you're trying to make it special, but see, when we were growing up, there was no cable. So when you saw a game of the week, it was a game of the week, even if it's stuck. But now you have so much to choose from. How often have we heard this? I got 500 channels on my cable, and there's nothing to watch. But that's because you choose certain things, and you can record things, which if you like your shows, you can binge watch. But anyway, by the way, folks, I just wanted to tell you that unfortunately, if you haven't heard this announcement, I let you know we were 7 signatures short of getting on the ballot in Akron So I will not be running for mayor of Akron.
Oh, bummer.
This is my 7.
You can't fix that? They won't let
7?
you
I
find
can
10
appeal,
people?
I guess, but it depends what they agree. They went through that. Well, you got to understand, the Democrats and Republicans, there's equal number of them, look at these ballots. And I guess they went through them 4 times at least.
That's like crushing. Only
Listen.
7?
I told Seth before you joined us that they were going to do that. They gave that to you because you and Seth said, well, he didn't have a chance because Akron is the kind of city Akron is. But you could have stirred up a lot of trouble.
God.
And everybody down there knows you. So you're dangerous. Those kind of games. I'm going to tell you this right now. I tried to get involved the right way in Cleveland politics. I ran for ward leader in my ward. And I went to then chairman of the party. Yeah. And he said, here's the list. Go get your signatures. He gave me a list for another ward. Every single one of my signatures was bad. And I walked every street in my precinct. So
Jesus.
They did the same thing to you, dude.
Well, the process.
Wow.
Did you turn in 3 times the number?
Well, it would have been over 50, and I had 70 plus. And, again, it was in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I had some help, but not a lot of help.
I think you should run a campaign anyway.
Well, here's the thing.
I think you should lay out your platform and run anyway. This way, for the next 2 years afterwards, you can just sit back and say, I told you so, and then run again.
I might, but here's the other thing. I'm going to call Dave Yost, the Attorney General, because I have a beef. And the beef isn't even so much about those signatures. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
But guess what? For the 50 plus you needed, I think it was 50, to go on to Akron mayors, guess what you need if you're an independent? How many signatures you need?
150.
963.
Oh, wow. All right, it's even worse. But yeah, they make it hard.
And here's the thing. That favors the 2-party system. And I think it's unconstitutional.
Well, it is.
But I don't have a lawyer to sue. So what am I going to do?
The 2-party system is the 2-party. The 2-party system is so incestuous. That's why it's really hard when I scratch my head and find out that I piss people off when I say that both sides are wrong.
They're hysterical. My adjective is they're hysterical.
Yeah, well,
both sides are hysterical.
Comedy is part of it, and it's there if we just come together and do it.
Well, my whole thing was fixing. How about this for a concept? Fixing our services and staying out of all the social issues.
Yeah.
And like with education, for example, somebody said, well, what would you do about it? I said, first of all, I don't control it. But the thing I would do is demand that the security be picked up. And one of the things you could hammer over their heads, if you had the right kind of prosecutor, and probably should be done, is threaten the school board and say, okay, if we catch you guys covering things up again, which they've done for years,
right?
I mean, whatchamacallit, David James, and there was a lot of union people who didn't step up. And I'm not talking about the teacher, I'm talking about the union heads because they're all suck-ups at that time, sucking up for better positioning with the administration.
Yep.
If you cover up a crime, you should be thrown in jail. And the school board should be held ultimately responsible criminally, because if you're covering things up and you're allowing that, you are obstruction of justice at the very least. And that stuff's been going on for years. I knew
you're a co-conspirator. You're absolutely right.
Co-conspirator. But again,
and I don't mean to interrupt, right?
To change it.
I just want to say hats off to Cassidy, because we've been getting some really good messages tonight. She tried twice and said the same thing.
Scott said he tried twice and
but
both times
you know
it was
what the worst part, Mike, Seth, and
what's that?
The psychic. Notice I didn't call you psycho. I called you psychic. You have fun with that sometimes. Anyway, the thing that's bad is what's happening to me, or even the effort I had to put forth to just serve. Remember, the whole idea of our forefathers was you would serve a certain amount of time, then you'd go back to the farms in those cases, or go back to your job. All these people have turned it, it's so lucrative now that, and they get all this stuff like, they're getting stock tips because they know what bills will be coming out.
No kidding.
So, the Pelosi, I mean, she's worth $100 million. How the hell is that possible? Well,
it's been that way since the 50s.
Right. So what I'm saying is,
I think she was there since the 50s.
Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah.
Or she threatened her husband with bribe money. But anyway, the story that to me is, I'm sad not for me so much. I'm sad for democracy, because this isn't what we signed up for. The famous line by Winston Churchill really applies now if you think about it. Winston Churchill once said, and I'm paraphrasing, I think fairly accurately quoting, democracy is the worst form of government, but it's the best we have till somebody comes up with something better.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yep, you're right.
But
here's the thing, too.
That's where
I often wonder, as a matter of fact, I did a paper on this in college, how things might be different if our founding fathers had any concept whatsoever about what a lobbyist was.
Yeah, think about that.
When you have everybody going, oh, we have to have term limits. You have to leave after 6 years. Yeah, well, the lobbyist has been there for 50. And he knows all the ins and outs. And it takes you 6 years to know what he knows. And then when you get to be even Steven, some other guy comes in with his finger up his nose, and they use him too.
Well, and I also think, though, the other part of this democracy that worries me is the unintelligent voters of today who complain, moan, and cry. And unlike me, who try to
do something,
they won't do anything at the ballot box, which they do have. And yes, they do control it, despite all the conspiracies for the most part. And if you're not willing to stop the madness, then it's your fault. The problem is, for those of us who care, we get bulldozed because of these lame-brained people who care more about TikTok than they do about their own government. And then they moan about the price of everything's going up.
Yeah.
Well, who do you think is responsible?
Mark Twain said it best. He said it is much, much easier to control someone's mind than to convince them that they're being controlled.
Good quote. Typical Mark.
Yeah.
We got to take a quick break. Sarah is on the line, but her device is not connected. Sarah, you got to make sure that you turn on your microphone and your camera if you want to come on. So we'll try to get to her hopefully when we get back. Can you guys stick around for a couple minutes more or no?
Yeah.
All right. So we will be right back in about 2 minutes. Hang on. It's for Smoking Rock and Roll food trucks. You got to check them out, man. The food is just unbelievable. Mac and cheese is fantastic. The brisket, everything else is just to die for. You got to check out Smoking Rock and Roll. 605 Clague Parkway in Bay Village. You can give them a call, 216-539-2239 to book a food truck. Find out where they're going to be at. They're going to be all over the place, especially when the spring and summer hits. It's unbelievable food. They win awards all over the place. Run by my good friend Billy Morris and his friend Todd. They're good people, and they make great food. You got to check it out. Smoking Rock and Roll, SmokingRockandRoll.com.
Aaron Tees and Signs has become your complete one-stop sign shop. Call Jimmy at 216-299-9344. Their friendly and professional staff can and will help you build your company brand and identity from start to finish. One stop means you get a complete package from one location. Custom logo design, vehicle graphics, banners, t-shirts, storefront marquees, and so much more. Aaron Tees and Signs, 4883 Turney Road. Call us at 216-299-9344.
Hey, it's for Audio Bay Studios in Bay Village. And now if you need a podcast done, you got a band, you got to record some stuff, Audio Bay Studios is the place to go. Trained technicians, good management there. I'm telling you, Audio Bay Studios has helped me out tremendously with my podcast. You want to go there, Audio Bay Studios, 605 Clague Parkway in Bay Village. It's right next to, or in the same building, I should say, as Smokin' Rock and Roll. Some of the best barbecue food trucks in town. The best barbecue food trucks in town. I'm telling you, you got to check out Audio Bay Studios. I know the guy, Chris Aiken. I know the guy, Billy Morris. They're good people. They take care of you. Audio Bay Studios. If you got a podcast that you want to start recording, Audio Bay Studios in Bay Village is the place to be. 605 Clague Parkway. Give them a call. 216-713-0066. That's 216-713-0066. Right back here on the Seth Williams Show with Mike Yusuka, Jim Isabella, Psychic Sonia with us. tonight, talking all kind of stuff. We're talking about the Super Bowl and the big halftime show, talking about aliens and whether they're invading us or what. James is talking about the Super Bowl, and he says since the game was in Arizona, the results of the game won't be final for a few more weeks.
That was a good
Nice,
one.
James.
Yeah,
That was good.
most
That's a
likely
good one.
that is accurate. People were talking about the whatever the Chinese spy stuff. As we intercontinental ballistic missile, Star Wars defense system, all the Russians and Chinese needed was an effing balloon.
Right?
And that's true. I mean,
If it hadn't been spotted, we wouldn't have known about it. They got busted. I
have
think
a
this has been
question.
going on for a while. This is just it made the news because they had
Okay, but-
somebody videotaped it or took a picture of it shot down, right?
but we were able to spot this stupid thing going
Yeah.
across the entire country. How does that not happen before we were able to do it? It's a balloon, for God's sake. It's not like it was floating in space. It's a balloon. You think somebody would have seen it? I don't know.
Well-
but these other three objects, whatever they are, there could be more. But
Well,
I
I
still think, going back to what I was talking about earlier, somebody was saying the same thing, that this could be a distraction from all the other crap that's going on.
It could be.
I mean, they're going to be talking about this for a long time. There's a lot of conspiracy theorists about the aliens coming in and taking over. But my point is that when the military has ever tried to shoot down a UFO in the past, they've never succeeded.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
so all of a sudden
That
now
we
they're
know
able to
of.
take them down? No.
we've
These are
shot
not
down,
aliens.
we've shot
think
down
it's-
more things in the past week, in the past 8 days that we shot down since Pearl Harbor
Right?
Yeah.
over our airspace. I mean, something is going on. Something is not normal, and I think that we still deserve an explanation. Maybe that's
We
coming,
do.
like you said, Mike, in a week or so. I don't know. Maybe.
I agree. 2 quick points, though.
Mhm.
I don't think it's a distraction because I don't think anybody's got the power to tell China, hey, why don't you let this thing go so that it comes over to our country right when the hearings are starting? So that's a little bit far-fetched. But Jim, I have a question for you, and I raised this before you joined the show,
Okay.
and I want to know what you think about it.
What's that?
What if it's not China? What if the thing they don't want to let out of the bag is that these are corporate, non-governmental, but big business, and they're conducting surveillance at a level that they think people might be uncomfortable knowing?
Well, it could be our own military trying something out.
That's true too.
You can go nuts with it. I think the biggest thing is I want to quote Joe Biden. When Barack Obama was in his first year of office, he was speaking to a group saying he's going to be meaning Obama. He's going to be tested. They will test him. Well, the Russians did that, after Afghanistan, right? Look what happened. And so the Russians are doing to us what we did to them, outspending them into oblivion. Like that's what Reagan did, basically. So now we've given how many millions of dollars overseas, and you sit there and you think to yourself, what are we doing? Are we accomplishing anything? I don't know what the right answer is there. I'd have to know the inside story because I'm one of those guys who doesn't give me an opinion if I don't have enough information.
Fair enough.
In any case, let me just say this to you. I really and truly believe that China is enjoying messing with us, and they may even be torturing. Remember Hunter Biden and the Joe Biden connection to China, allegedly, that's gone on. Maybe they're messing with Biden and saying, ha, 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 we can control you, you dummy. And I think they're spitting in his face.
I think so too.
I mean, so, because he's put himself in a bad position with Hunter, and now these China, there's investigations in the Congress because it's now Republican Congress. You got all these things factoring in, and it's nuts time. Meanwhile, the rest of the country is going to hell, and so nothing's being accomplished because these people can't walk and chew gum at the same time. And God forbid they work more than 4 days a week, because most of them only work, in case you don't know, 4 days a week. And then they're off on the weekend, and they're, throwing their little parties. So my point about government is And the reason when I was running for mayor, I said, look, I'm going to hire people to actually do work. What a contract.
Right.
That's what you need to do. These people don't know how to work. They literally don't know how to work. They've been bums all their lives. All they do is they go and they schmooze people. And I'll tell you a little story. A guy called my talk show when I was doing on NIR one time. And he says, Jim, you know what goes on? He says, there's these good-looking women or these good-looking guys in suits. They meet up with these Congress people. They go and they're playing a little intimate game, shall we say. And then they get a video and they've got them. They got them to do whatever the hell they want. Prostitution, male or female, is still the greatest single piece of blackmail. Think about it.
Yeah.
If you got a video and some guy's cheating on his wife, and or hey, there's females that cheat on their husbands too. Let's not forget that. Equal part of lust, I call it. You have all that, and then people are compromised. So you have compromised people here, or they're compromised because all they want to do is get reelected. So they got to keep the people that give them the money like that. By the way, you want to really be frightened? Think about this. The research was being done by somebody, not even on my behalf. The Republican Party found out that George frickin' Soros, is putting money into one of the Democratic candidates in Akron, I guess. George Soros, that piece of trash guy who hates Jews even if he's Jewish, is a guy who's sticking his nose in this. Is he afraid of Jim Isabella because it looked like I was going to be a candidate? Little old me? That tells you the power and the corruption levels that have reached us, and that's why nothing gets done. So a guy like me is a threat.
Exactly. And the way that they get away with it is turning us against each other, so we think we are each other's problem.
Well, but I got to tell you, the problem is and I hate the stereotype, but I had a conversation the other night with somebody who's a liberal. You couldn't have an intelligent conversation because that person was totally emotional. It was all emotion, not about that. And the person I was talking to didn't know facts, didn't know how things, to my point earlier about how government works. And so how do you have conversations? You can't.
There's a lot of that going on, I'll tell you.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of that. As I get older,
too little intelligence.
As I'm getting older, I'm realizing I can't relate.
That's a double-edged sword, though, Jim. There's just as many back and forth that just don't.
Yes and no. Too. I would say I'd say 55-60% of the. Well, let's go backward. The verbal stuff that goes on doesn't represent the majority of the country on either side.
Right.
The majority of the country. Why do you think I was going to run 2 issues? Roads and police. Why? Because it's all people care about. They want to not lose their teeth driving.
Both sides, that's all they care about. You're right.
Of course, the economy is the third prong, but that's what I'm saying, basically. But none of that's being addressed.
But here's something that should be, because this is the kind of lightning rod that both people might come forward and try to touch.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not part of the solution, you are still part of the problem. Which means don't just sit there and throw rocks and stones. Go into the middle and try to fix and build something.
But I think the problem is the generations that have grown up, even in the poor areas. Think about what they have. They don't have to go outside. They can play a video game on their phone. They can do everything they want on their phone.
Amen.
It's turned out that the smartphone has made us dumb.
Yeah, that's the chip everybody was afraid of when you and I were in high school. Oh, they're going to put a chip in our neck. No.
What's funny is I use this little device here. You know what I use it for?
Porn.
Check the weather. Check the news. That's what I do. And make my phone calls. That's it. Text when I need to. It's a device. It's a business device for the most part in my life.
Yeah, but you know what?
I don't have time
20
to
years,
watch all this
20
crap.
years from now, Jim, people are going to go, I'm tired of leaving this. I'm tired of forgetting it. It's so big. It's so awkward. all right, go ahead. Just put the chip in my neck. They will, because it's convenient and it's easy.
Well, you said
We
the
gave
key
up
term.
banking and buying things with cash because people said, "Oh, they're right. It's cheap."
But we were warned not to do that. It's
Thank
been
you.
predicted. It's been
666.
predicted in the Bible within Revelations. It says, "Do not belong to the system of these things.
You're
Do you
You're
want
going to
my-
be assigned a number. Do not belong to the system."
I'm gonna let's see if I can out-psych the psychic on this one. Prediction. Let's see if I can
Doubt
do
it.
this. I'm going to predict.
He doesn't know who I am.
No, apparently not.
Well, I've heard about
The Super
you.
Bowl,
Don't
for God's
kid
sake.
yourself.
we got
I
your
know.
back, Sonia.
But I'm going to give you a prediction.
Okay.
Biden is going to make a failure, or his administration is going to make a bigger failure than this balloon thing. And the wrath of God is going to come down because it'll be something that affects people every day. If that happens, watch what happens. Now,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it'll be 9/11 all over again. Suddenly, people want to get involved because they're frightened.
No,
It's going
The next-
to take that level to happen. And I
the
think it's
next
going to happen.
9/11, Jim. The next 9/11 is when the computers go down for a whole weekend, and then on Monday, the bank calls you and says, "Hey, Jim, that $5,000 you had in the bank is still there," and you hang up the phone and go, "Wait a minute, wait a minute. I had $10,000 in the bank," and you call the bank back and you said, "Hey, I had $10,000," and the bank looks at you and says, "Prove it."
I think
Because
the
you don't
bigger
have
one
a
will be
piece of
electric
paper.
grid. You people without cell phones for a week,
I would die.
or without electricity
Oh,
for a week,
people
will
would
lose their
die.
freaking minds.
I wouldn't know what to do. My wife and I would actually have to talk during dinner. That would,
Okay,
that would be
I
outrageous.
have to admit that I don't use the mobile, like GPS and all that. I write down my directions because how many times has my phone been dumped and now I'm in the middle of East Cleveland. I have no idea where I'm at.
There you go.
So I write it down because I don't
I
trust.
visualize it too. Yeah, I do. the
And
same.
honest to God, I have a 10,000 person contact list that's all written down because my computer has crashed more than once. I can tell you I've lost my lists how many times. So now I've got it all written down. I save it all. I don't trust it all. I don't trust I'm of that old age where I don't trust them. The newer kids rely on them. That's their downfall. That's going to be that downfall. They're relying on it too much.
That's going to be the downfall of me. I literally have everything in my phone. If somebody wanted to
So-
know what my accounts are, you could have
They're
my
all
phone.
right there, yeah.
Like
So
everything
in
is
the-
there.
You guys were talking about Big Brother earlier. I was sitting in a Salt Fork Lodge, the State Park Lodge, in the
I've been
parking
down there.
lot, in a
Yeah.
car,
Yeah, I've been there.
talking to some people, and we were talking about some dude ranch out in Wyoming. Maybe we'd join up, and all of a sudden, our phones, when we got back online, started popping up all these dude ranches.
Yeah,
They were listening to our conversations.
it doesn't bother anybody.
So
By the-
this age of surveillance, it's everywhere. There's no more privacy.
Well, I
I-
was talking to somebody back about a month and a half ago, and we were talking about dating. I swear to you, the dating apps started popping up and popping
Yeah.
up and popping up everywhere, including the Facebook. So, by the
Yeah.
way, to that little, by the way, I want a cage match. I want a cage match with that little redheaded dweeb who runs Facebook. I want a cage match with him.
There you
This
go.
old fat fart wants to take him on, and I'll slap him around. I challenge him to a cage match for charity,
You got it.
my charity.
You know, Jim, I'm a stand-up comic. I end my show by telling the audience I am so glad to be older than most of the people in the room because everything I did in my past, I got away with because it wasn't recorded.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up under 24/7 government surveillance.
Amen.
See,
I didn't have
that-
algorithms.
I don't
telling me
mind,
what I
though.
should do.
So
I don't
nobody's
mind-
asked me
what do
who.
I care?
Nobody's asked me the prediction on who the next president's going to be.
All right, prediction. Let's go because we got to wrap things up here in a minute. So
All
right.
prediction.
The person who wears red.
Nice. Well, I think
Whoever's
we can-
campaigning, they wear a lot of red. Probably, Trump wears a lot of red, but the person who wears red the most is going to win.
Well, that's a good
Nikki
thing
Haley.
for me.
That's all I can say
If
because
she's wearing a red negligee, I'm going to vote for her.
right, whoever's wearing red, a lot of red. I see a lot of red because they're at war, and that color, that's the one. That's what's going to happen.
I'll pick
Oh.
Nikki Haley on the outside.
Because I don't know who the candidates are going to be. So all I can guess is all I can see is
We'll
that
see
I
if
see a
Joe
lot of
Biden-
red.
Color.
I'll tell you guys, I think
I
Joe
doubt
Biden,
that he's good. If he's gonna, I just doubt it. I just doubt it.
I think Joe Biden's going to get sick or something.
I just doubt that he's going to
He
be
can't find
in.
his way to or off a stage. I can't imagine him like being able to perform another 4 years.
Well, his wife doesn't care. She just likes strutting her stuff.
And she likes
Watch
kissing
the
other
way
men,
she
apparently.
walks. Watch all the attention she goes. She goes to football games without him because she wants attention. She loves the
Yeah.
attention.
All right.
And also, Jim,
Yeah.
I want you to watch out for some flat tires.
That's weird. I just got a
I
flat
just
tire
had a
today.
crash last Sunday.
Yeah, keep
Oh.
watching because it usually comes in threes. So you need to watch, Jim.
Oh, I've had my 3 already.
You have? Oh God.
But that's
I
weird
had-
you said flat tires because literally my wife
had
got
the
in the car this
crash.
morning and she got a flat tire.
Oh,
And I
did
had-
she?
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
2. I've had to change 2 of my bank cards.
Oh God.
So you put that on top of all that other stuff. I mean, this disappointment today and everything else. I do want to say
So
one thing.
if you get another flat tire, I didn't do anything. I promise.
No, but my stepson did.
Oh.
They found it out today. So I was out helping Teresa go to the place to get the new tires. So that happened already. Didn't happen to
Wow.
me, but happened to Ron. Close enough for government work.
No kidding.
Well, keep an eye on it. I really
by the way-
appreciate you guys. I'll let you guys all say goodbye. Everybody, thanks a
Tell us
lot for
about the psychic
tuning in.
fair. Tell us about the psychic
You're
fair on
good.
Sunday.
Well,
Yeah,
you can see me at the Psychic Fair. It's going to be Yorktown Lanes in Parma Heights on Pearl Road. It's from 11 to 5. Come on down and get a reading. It's free parking, free to get in. Readings are $30. Come on down and see me. Going to be other psychics there too and vendors.
Awesome. I'll see you
And
Sunday.
all righty, great.
Thanks, Tanya.
Good night,
Good seeing you again,
everybody.
Sonia.
Yeah.
Good night.
Jim, we want to thank you for coming on as well. We are wrapping stuff up, so thanks. I'm glad you're okay with the car accident. What happened?
I'll tell you another time. It takes too long to explain it.
All right.
Neither guy was injured. That's a good thing. Except I
Good.
hurt my back trying to get the crap out of my car when it was totaled.
Ouch.
Jeez.
I still want to talk to you, Jim, about running anyway. Campaign, tell Akron the truth, lay a foundation. We'll go from there.
All right, we'll talk about it soon.
I'll talk to you off air.
All right.
Thanks,
Cool.
Jim. We'll
All
talk
right.
to you.
Good night, America.
Good night.
Good night, buddy.
Good show tonight. It was fun. A lot of
Yeah.
people, joining in and messaging about the aliens and the Super Bowl and then
Yeah.
all of the other things we talked about. So I think Wednesday night, I'm trying to get a hold of the Bone Lady. I've
That'd be
gotten hold
nice.
of her. I'm trying to see if she will actually come on and join us. We'll see if that happens. Do you remember the Bone Lady?
Yeah,
Round
absolutely.
games and all that kind of stuff.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
Tony Masaccio on from wherever he's going to be at, out and about once again. And we'll see what happens the next couple of days with these objects in the sky and everything else going on in the world. So thanks, Mike. And
Yeah,
God
one
willing,
thing, one
Huh?
thing real quick, though. We
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to stop every time and break, but we got a lot of good comments tonight. So everybody that took the time to share the thoughts and the ideas and stuff like that, we
Yeah.
read them. They registered. It'll come up later, but thanks for the
This
people's
Facebook
input
banning
into
thing-
the show.
this
Yeah.
Facebook banning thing sucks, and it's hurting. We're still looking for sponsors. We got a couple of other segments we're trying to start up. If anybody wants to sponsor the show, you can always email us, Seth and Mike at Outlook.com, Seth and Mike at Outlook.com, or SethWilliams32 at Yahoo.com. You can do that there. You can get your free show stickers or T-shirts still at TheSethWilliamsShow.com, TheSethWilliamsShow.com. Do that, and God willing, we will be back on Wednesday night, 5 o'clock.
Good show, buddy.
Good night, Mike.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Good.